Hey, this is Ebony, aka Miss E, your serial problem solver, helping you to make money, not problems. Listen, as you all know, and if you don't know, now you know, I help landlords take the guesswork out of property management. Here's a myth. Most people think that you need a ton of time and money to effectively and properly manage your properties. That's far from the truth. All you need is a simple system to experience a new level of peace, which consists of clear communication, coverage, and reliable mobile device. And I'm sure that you have at least two of the three. So, when we talk about clear communication, I'm talking about how you communicate with your tenant from the inception of the relationship. This is where you build the rapport. This is where you actually help your tenant understand exactly how, when, and where to communicate with you. So we know that we can communicate from different, devices or different mechanisms. There's multiple ways for you to communicate with your tenant. But here's the reality. They need to know what you want them to do because it's your process. So when we talk about clear communication, make sure that from the time that you meet your tenants, that you clearly define how you want them to communicate with you. Your tenants need to know whether you need emergencies communicated via phone and email or simply just calling you. They also need to know how they're going to be receiving certain bills. Maybe you have a portal or you have an app. Are they going to be receiving their bills monthly? That way, how do they pay their rent? This information should be clearly defined in your lease, but you also need to know how you're going to exchange information from time to time, especially when things come up, when questions come up, when concerns come up, when there's maintenance concerns. You need to be aware of them immediately, right? So, you can have them. For me, I'm pretty open. You can text me, you can call me, you can email me. I am very, very quick to respond to my tenants because I want them comfortable, I want them to feel safe, and I want them to be confident in knowing that if they reach out to me, I will most likely respond within the hour. Or, if it's late at night, they're most likely going to email me, but if there's an emergency, I definitely want them to call, right? So those things were clearly and effectively communicated from the inception. The reality is you always want to remain professional, patient. You also want to remain friendly, with your tenants, but you don't have to necessarily build friendships. I always tell even my staff, it's all right to be personable, which is friendly, but don't get too personal. Don't start telling all of your business. Don't get unprofessional. I prefer to be called by my first name with my tenants. We're in a business relationship, a professional relationship. You understand? So you want to make sure that they understand how to clearly and effectively communicate with you, and you need to understand how they prefer to be communicated with as well. So I always clearly define how they receive bills and notices. More likely than not, I like to send things electronically so that both of us will have time and date stamps, and they understand that they can always go back and refer to the items that I've sent later. So that's that for communication. Now let's talk about coverages. You want to make sure that you make your life as a landlord as easy as possible. And the great thing about that is, from a repairs perspective and a legal perspective, if you have the proper coverages in place, then you will have a better outcome in the end. And here's why. Because you're going to need, at minimum, rental insurance, especially if you are not living at the property. If you live at the property, then you'll need homeowners insurance. But I do renters insurance because I don't live in any of my properties, correct? So you want to make sure that your tenants have their own renters insurance before they move in, and they can add you on their policy as a third party. I always make that mandatory. I actually get proof that I'm also added to their renters policy. I make it very clear. Here we go back to communication again. I make it very clear that they have to have their own coverages in the event of, you know. You also want to make sure that you have sewer and pipe coverage. Here's a quick story. I actually, when I bought my very first property, passed inspection, everything looked good. The property was looked to be in tip-top form, but you couldn't see what was going on behind the walls. And the reality was I had to end up replacing my entire water and sewer system. And I vowed to try my best to inform other people behind me that you want to make sure that you have the proper water and sewer coverages in place so that you don't have to come out of pocket, nor do you have to go and track down your own repair company, because then they'll be sending out their contractors to do the dirty work for you. So it's as simple as making a phone call. Don't you want to make your life as easy as simply receiving a phone call and then making one? You don't even have to really show up if you don't need to, but I always like to make sure I have my own before and after pictures. So dropping another gem. A home warranty is great because that covers any of your appliances within the home, anything that breaks, even pipes within the home for some coverages. Now, I can't tell you what your policy is going to say, but you want to make sure that you read it thoroughly and understand what it does and does not cover. But in the event that your tenants are calling you for garbage disposal, you know, dishwashers, washer dryers, refrigerators, microwaves that you've already put in the property, those are things that you can simply pick up the phone and call your home warranty company, and they can actually send out a contractor to repair. Most home warranty companies do require a deductible, and you can simply, if you like, put that in your lease so that if the deductible needs to be covered, then your tenants would be responsible. That's one way to actually address certain things and to keep them responsible, so that when they have ownership, when they have some skin in the game, then they're more likely to take better care of your property. Last but not least is a reliable mobile device. As a landlord, you never want your cellular phone to be off. You always want to make sure you have your bills paid on time, but especially that mobile phone. If you have a tablet, iPad, or cell phone, you can actually do your work or address any issues from anywhere in the world. So that's the way that you have another level of peace, because if you need a document on the fly, if you use Google Drive, you can simply click on the drive, go to that property, get the documents you need, and be on your merry way. If you actually have your phone, you can do the same. You can check your emails, you can make phone calls. We want to make our lives easier. I'm here to give you peace and prosperity in the midst of everything that comes with landlord and ownership. So if you want to leave the landlord jungle of chaos and confusion, definitely click the link. I look forward to working with you. You have an amazing day. God bless.